And welcome to start a brand new Let's Play. This is Sunless Skies from the creators of Sunless Sea, developed and published by Fail Better Games. I know very little about this game other than that it's from the makers of Sunless Sea and that apparently involves strange, which I guess the title screen is already that giveaway of. So what do we know? Well, here's what's on the store page. Sunless Skies is a Gothic Horror roleplay game with a focus on exploration and exquisite storytelling. Yes, I do remember that from Sunless Sea, where the language got occasionally hard to understand for me. Anyway, I'm playing this completely blind, so this is the first time I actually booted up the game. I looked at the controls, those are fine. The game recently came out of early access, I think, so yeah. Let's start up a new game. Let's do merciful. I don't mind Iron Man mode, but let's do merciful. Aiming assistance. Only a few player weapons are towards target. Sure. Yeah, I think that's okay. How far can you go, though? Let's put that on gentle, put that on standard supply consumption. Standard, sure. Alright, let's see. Okay, that makes sense. I think that was the case in the previous game too. Tis loading. Also, apparently we're conducting a space train, so. Log of Her Majesty's locomotive the Orpheon, March 14th, 1905. Our expedition to the domains of the dead have been eventful. The Orpheon is damaged and in grievous need of repairs and supplies. We are returning in haste to the Reach, where I hope to make port at New Winchester. May God be with us for 1,000 deaths wait in the sky. Final entry of Captain Amelia Charity Whitlock, DCM, written shortly before her death. Alright, so we're using WASD. I think there was controller support, but no. Okay, this is all very cool. Is it still L to turn off the light? You have returned to the Reach, an untamed sunless span of the heavens, London's new frontier, a celestial garden running wild. Okay. The journey back from the Blue Kingdom was tumultuous. Your locomotive is crippled and Captain Whitlock badly wounded. Also, we're playing with that one, but she died. As first officer, the crew look to you. The nearest station is in Winchester. Can you get the orphan there safely? Hey there, Ranago. Thanks. It's the first time I'm booting up this game, so I'm expecting to die horribly. I think that's loot. Gosh. Much to the relief of your stokers, you find a fuel barrel among the detritus. He's not looking too good though, is he? A red drift fuel, less fortunate even than you. You scout her for repairs, he suggests. The wreck of the Ozymandias. Wreck hangs in the sky, packed with gunfire. You and the boarding party don your sky suits, garments of waxed canvas, lined with felt to protect against the cold of the sky. Two of the crew are whispering as they dress. What business did Captain Whitlock have in the Blue Kingdom anyway? Why the devil did we trespass on the districts of the dead? You silence him. Now's not the time. Okay, first I'm going to check if chat is in proper position for this. It is definitely not. Just move that up a bit. We can make that slightly bigger. Alright. The gap between the two engines isn't wide, but the endless fathoms have an even gaping beneath it. Leading the way, you jump. Your stomach lurches with vertigo as the stars blaze above you and below. The air of the heavens is thin, thorn by unpredictable winds. Then your boots hit the running board of the Ozymandias, and your leather gloves hands fumble for a hold. Okay, so it's still fancy grammar. It's kind of neat, but it'll throw me for a loop more than once, I think. One of your companions throws you a line, and you lash the two engines together. Only then do the rest of the boarding party follow you. One of them forces open the exterior hatch, and you clamber inside. The interior is cold, unlit, and whistles with wind. The party's lamps spread blurry light over narrow paneled passages. You make your way towards the hold, stepping over bodies crumpled in the corridor. Unfortunately, your way is blocked. The bulkhead has been mangled inward by a well-aimed barrage. Clear the obstruction away. You locate a length of pipe to use as a pry bar and set to work. This will test your iron skill. Iron is a skill of confronting and overcoming. Lead your party on a more precarious path. Go back onto the Ozymandias hull, climb past the blockage and enter through a window to the far side, and do so carefully. Veils is a skill of deceiving a veil. Okay, so why can we see our own skills? Hey there, Miguel. Officers, journal, profile, I guess. We can't do that now. Well, both are in the green. I don't know if this is an indicator. Oh, I'll give you 75% chance, 75% chance. Let's do it sneaky way. A memory. The rest of the... Yes, new games. The rest of the boarding party follow you without enthusiasm. Oh, good. You recall the first time you climbed outside an engine, helping the captain fix a leaking exterior pipe. The wind that shrieked, buffeting at you. You asked the captain what would happen if you slipped. You fall, she answered tersely. But where to? You asked. She looked down, then up, then back. The sky's depth spiraled all about you. Away, she said, and you heard her fear. Back in the present, you tumbled back to the Ozymandias through a shattered window. Your party spill in after you, glad to be back inside. You've reached Ozymandias' hold, a ruin of smashed cargo and spilled supplies. Hopefully somewhere amidst the detritus you can find parts to repair the Orphean and restock your stores. Conduct a thorough search. Your companions work quickly. The Ozymandias' hull has begun to creak. Your actions on board may have compromised its integrity. No, because we climbed in through a different path. Renewed. You find enough food and gear to stock your... Yeah. You find enough food and gear to restock your supplies, and enough spare parts to make necessary repairs to the Orphean. The food will need to be thoroughly thawed, of course, but you've eaten worse in disguise. Oh, cries one of your party, prying the lid off a long crate. It holds a cannon, still nestled in straw. Another crewman pulls a battered bird cage from a pile of ruined cargo. Within the cage, something winged and furred opens a sullen eye. You examine your finds. Okay, so we've got extra hull, we've got supplies, and I think we have a gun now. As you its long, juddering creak, your boarding party exchanges nervous glances. From the chaos of its hold, you've retrieved repairs and supplies and discovered some useful equipment. A gun that could be mounted on your locomotive, and an educated bat. Cool. Mount a Jerusalem cannon on the Orphean. Liberate diffident bat and deploy it as scout. Oh, I can claim both. Okay. Ruined weapons were damaged during your flight from the Blue Kingdom. That leaves you vulnerable. Cotron Hathor Sage Jerusalem. Well, I've currently been playing for 10 minutes, totally. So, that's about it. You order two of your party to get it back to the vessel and fit it immediately. Ozymandias groans again. The structure shudders spasmodically. You now have one coddle and a heart. This is Jerusalem. Also, where do I get the bat from now? Ozymandias puts along during creek, boarding party exchange nervous glances. Yes, okay. The heavens are wide, so locomotives use scouts, like bats, to locate things of interest. Ports, resources, wrecks like this one to scavenge. Night in the sky. The bat treats its rescue as an inconvenience and immediately begins haggling over pay. You offer to put it back in its dim cage and leave it on the Ozymandias, at which point it becomes more polite. You doubt it will last. Great, so he got into a fight with a bat. Alright. Sure. You might find more fuel here, but you had better hurry. Ozymandias is beginning to tear apart. I don't think the tutorial would screw us up this bad. Food is for all of you to go. Send your quicks and lightest to retrieve the fuel while the rest of you return to the Orpheum. Hard is a skill of convincing and enduring. Send the rest of the boarding party back to the Orpheum. Go on alone. I'll go on my own. Ugh. The engine room is grey with spilled ash littered with corpses. Let us survive the Ozymandias ruin. You search fruitlessly for coal, but linger too long. As the wreck is racked with violent tremors, you are raced back to the Orpheum. Yeah. The dying groan, your Ozymandias splits in two, sending shards of splintered plating spinning into the sky. Several of them bite into the Orpheum, mauling its hull. Stoking your engine, you steam away from the collapsing wreck. You are restocked at least, and rearmed. Okay, so how do I use me guns? Spend F. Press F to send out your scouts. Sorry, no respects here. Your scout discovers something. See what it is. Open a chart, compass icon in the toolbar. Okay, so we're meant to go here then. Yeah. It's still a bat. It's just not a Z bat this time. I guess we're gonna have to. Summoned by Captain Whitlock. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodgepodge of curios from across the sky. Curios. Captain Whitlock lies in bed. Black marks cover her skin like a monster's brand. When she coughs, coils of acrid smoke pour from her lungs. Inquire after the captain's injuries or approach the bedside. Well, I have no idea either, so we're on the same level there. The brand. A word of living fire pursued the orphan across the Blue Kingdom. It caught you just before you passed through the transit relay to the Reach, and set its brand upon the captain. It's burned itself right through her, the doctor whispers. When I closed the worst of her wounds, I could see the sign seared into her bones and organs. Judging from her symptoms, it's on the inside of her lungs too. Yes, I have played Sunless Skies. I do have a let's play of that. The captain leans to one side and vomits a plume of fire into a copper bowl. There's nothing the doctor can do. Her mouth is blistered from the blue fires that dance on her tongue. Her hand grips your arm. Her skin is hot as a kettle. Made arrangement. The orphan will be yours. Her voice is just a rasp of burned meat breath, but promise. She breaks off to scream a word in a language that was not made for human mouths. When she resumes speaking English, she's weaker, requests a little more than a gasp. Promise me one last service. Promise. We know she's gonna die, so may as well promise, right? She sinks back, relieved. All in my will, she gasps. Be a better... She breaks off as the sigil burned into her bones flare, glowing cherry red through her flesh and skin. Better captain than I. The efforts exhaust her. She sinks back to scorched pillows and a twisting, frantic fever. Leave the cabin, the scorched stink of its air behind, and return to the bridge. New Winchester is further than you'd like, and the captain hasn't long left. A little bit, yeah. Apparently she still lives, though. Oh no, that's terrible. Oh, you don't have to wait until this goes away. Okay. The Reach Marauder is defeated. You approach the buckled wreckage, poised to plunder the plunderers. Hey, they were plunderers, so we did the right thing, right? Raid remains stripped for repairs. Marauders pillage homesteads and hunt travelers all across the Reach. They often carry stolen valuables. Scavenge the Marauder plating components to repair the damaged Orpheum. Let's raid the remains. Board the party returns with wallets and watches, cufflinks, lockets, and keepsakes. You store them in the safe to be pawned when, if, you make it back to port. Choo choo! I think it's that way to port, right? Yep. So we may as well do that first. This is cool looking though. Wispy condensation trails across the sky, the ghost of passing trains. New ports to grow relief to see land, perhaps unwisely. I think in the last game it was like most... Wait, is that the port? Yeah, that's the port, okay. Should probably go there then. True, true. You coast to the bustle, the din, the soot, and the steamy of Wolvesey Station. It's clogged with other engines, scrappy mining locomotives from Lustrum Way, weathered explorers gleaming with frost, sleek company vessels with bright brass fittings. No sooner you have pulled into the sidings than a brusque station master bustles over. He requests to come aboard. Must speak with your captain, he insists, brandishing a ledger. The usual formalities. Portus tracks. Yeah. I suppose it could be like to lock you down, like you have in certain car washes, I guess. Well, it is completely dark in my room, and I'm using headsets, so... Anyway. This is just a tutorial, too, so... Just appeared at your shoulder. His face is solemn, his hat is in his hands, he lowers his eyes. The crew exchanged bleak, wordless looks. The orphan itself feels suddenly more empty. The station master looks confused. You inform him that, unfortunately, Captain Whitlock had just passed. Ah, he says, naturally. Sorry to hear that. Very sad. Very sad. He waits for what he considers an appropriate minute and a half before continuing. Alas, even amidst the tragedy, the cogs of bureaucracy must turn. If Captain Whitlock is deceased, the station authority require their answers from the first officer. He dons a set of spectacles and locates his pen. It'll be relatively painless. Name, background, purpose of visit, etc. Shall we begin? Create your captain. Today London lies between the stars. A new empire unfolds across the heavens. But 10 years ago, before the Northern Gate was opened, before the renewed Empress led her people into the skies, it lay in a vast cavern far beneath the earth. Deep, dark, marvelous. Who were you then? So this is a sequel to Sunless Skies then. Hey, as long as you have a smooth, silky voice like I do, it should be fine, right? Street urchin, soldier, priests, a sailor. Huh. Revolutionary. I don't know, I wouldn't mind playing Sailor. You rove the mournful, merciless waters of the Untersee. I did, so... yeah, let's go with that. Create your captain. You were a Z captain. You remember bats swinging across the still black sea, the distant lights of London calling you home. Salty prayers offered to heedless gods. It was a hard life and often a short one, but you made your mark. I don't know, I haven't played this yet, so... You smuggled, you explored, you bought and you sold. Majesty's Navy had a great many opinions on what should and shouldn't be sold in our territories. Your own opinions were rather different. Wish of Vales, okay, you explored. Yours were far, lonely journeys. You endured nameless hardships. You rallied your crew in the face of utmost uncertainty. Wishes your hearts. Oh. Was Pages that on its own then? Huh. It's been way too long since I've played that. Let's go with smuggle. Choose an ambition. What does winning mean to you? Wealth, fame, or the truth? Okay. You want a comfortable retirement, and be comfortable you mean extravagant. Many have made their fortunes out among the stars. Many have more failed, broken and lost in the drifting night. Will you be different? It's the world exploding. It could mean that we figure out what happened to the Untersee. And the more night explodes in the sunless sky, for centuries people have launched themselves into the unknown in hope of making a name of themselves. I'm sure it'll succeed. After all, you've never heard of anyone who didn't. Let's do fame. Ooh! Can I put my own face on there? No, probably not. We're gonna play as a woman. That'll get the respect of my crew, right? Apparently not. Wow, we can set a custom brow. Hey, look, now we have two noses. I'll put on some spectacles. You can be a woman's with a mustache. To find a tiny nose for a lady. There we go. Trim of address. This will trim what people call your captain, but your captain's gender is up to you. Comrade. Yes, needs to be no sister, that's a nun, pretty much, isn't it? It's ma'am. Yeah. I'm gonna call her Janice. Madam Janice. Alright, cool. Long journeys activate your locomotive's cruise control. All is a little worse for wear. Try to repair it soon. You can use for a small fee at a new Winchester in certain other ports, or sometimes by salvaging from the wrecks of your opponents. This to your ordinary crew, you now have an officer or perhaps a mascot. You'll need to formally appoint them before you can benefit from their skills, abilities, or animal charisma. Do this, open the officer's panel while in port. Okay. Scouts will start something to see what it is. Open your charts. Okay. It's Janice. It's Madam, not Captain. Madam. This morning, Captain Whitlock received a simple memorial service. Her body was consigned to a necropolis train bound for a serene mausoleum. Now he sits with a handful of her relatives in the threadbare offices of her solicitors. A methodical notary is reading the will. The captain was wealthy once, but squandered her capital on mysterious expenses before her expedition to Blue Kingdom. Captain relatives from whom she was mostly estranged are clearly wondering why you are here. In a final codicil, the notary announces Captain Whitlock. Oof, sorry about that. Confirmed that possession of the orphan was to pass to its first officer. He peers at you with dry grey eyes. This includes a certain black box contained in the orphan's hold. Captain Whitlock's final request was that, at a time of your choosing, you transport said box to an address in London. He hands you an address card, and deposit it there. You're not to look inside. She gave no explanation. And that's it. You're captain now. Orphan's yours. You've been bequeathed a large black box which once belongs to Captain Whitlock. You gained 100 sovereigns. Okay. Investigate the black box in Winchester. How do we do that? Okay, the clamoring station of central New Winchester. A place of steam and smut and thundering iron. Here you can find people willing to pay for skilled captain's service. Let's investigate the black box. Whitlock left it to you in the hold of an Orpheum. We'll describe it only as a black box. A description you consider to be an unhelpful understatement. It's a casket of black basalt, longer than you are tall, unadorned, with a single small recess that contains a keyhole. Whitlock left it to you in the hold of the Orphan. Her will describe it only as a black box. Yes, okay, we did that. It stands upright in the corner of the hold where the crew has pushed it out of the way. Alright. Whitlock had brought it on board just before your ill-fated expedition to the Blue Kingdom. It was empty then. You know because you saw the lid in the box carried on board separately and assembled in the hold. It's not empty now. It is sealed and even heavier than before. Well, you left for the Blue Kingdom shortly after the box was delivered and made no stops in the way. So whatever's inside the box now, Captain Whitlock found it in the Blue Kingdom. Last request of Captain Amelia Whitlock was for the box to be transported to a specific address in London. So that if you could find perhaps someone willing to purchase it as a curiosity. And if you knew what was inside, you might be able to command a higher price. The mention of a sarcophagus plundered from the tomb of some forgotten prince of Egypt. There are no carvings or inscriptions on it. The joint where the lid meets the body is too thin to admit even a knife blade. There are no holes by which light or air might find their way in. It is impossible to see inside without opening it. Even the keyhole has been engineered in such a way as to prevent peeking. The recess with the keyhole, though, as far as you can determine, that is a more recent addition to the box. The stone has been drilled and chiseled away to create space for a modern metal lock. Let's see. So we don't have any of those then. I thought we did. Recruit the Incautious driver. Especially in test drive, I'm looking for something quieter. The driver indicates a crashed engine still smoking like that without the screaming. As we get your chief engineer will increase your iron by 6, your hearts by 2, and your affiliation establishment by 1. Okay. Cool.